Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, back again with Death Note. Last time on Death Note, we had Rebirth, the series premiere, where we met our main character, Light Yagami, or Yagami? We met Light, and he found the Death Note, a mystical notebook where if you write down someone's name, they will die. And there's a bunch of other rules we won't go into right now. And then Light met Ryuk, a Shinigami from the Shinigami world, who originally owned that Death Note, but specifically dropped it in the human world because he was bored. And Light, being the average teenager that he is now prepared to kill anyone who he deems as unjust. He's already gone through a lot of the world's worst criminals. And, yeah, so the new world he is creating is going to be full of people that he deems to be good people. And he will be the god of this new world. It happens. Yeah, this is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. Just don't. It's just not cool, man. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. That's kind of where the first episode ended, is just him being like, yes, I will be a god. And it's like, alright, cool. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. But before we get into this episode of Death Note, I do want to say, due to copyright issues, I cannot host the actual reaction of Death Note here in this video. It sucks, but it's just how it happens. So if you want to watch my 10-minute highlight reaction where it's all nice and good, you get the footage over there, it's all nice and edited and stuff. It probably won't actually be 10 minutes because this is short, so it'll probably be like 6 minutes. But if you want to go watch my reaction highlight to that, you can head down in the description where it's clearly marked where you will be able to watch that. So yeah, you can go do that if you want, and then when you're done with that, be sure you come back to this video so that you watch the discussion for this episode of Death Note. So yeah, let's get into this. Okay, holy shit. I don't know if I wrote as many notes as I feel like I should have, but we got some stuff. We got some stuff, definitely. Okay, damn. That is so quick that already on episode 2, Light has met his match. That's really interesting. Like, he has met his match. Oh my gosh. You're insane. Okay. The first thing I wrote down was Light's time. So, fucking... Oh, he's so fucking crazy. So, I like the little thing at the beginning of, you know, how can Light spend his time, basically, you know. He still has to go to school, he still has to, you know, go to sleep so he can keep up his record and stuff like that. But he still needs to spend as much time as he can writing down all these names. So he like divided up all his time to where basically from the time he gets home from school to when he goes to sleep, he has to just keep writing names. Oh man, he is such a serial killer. It's so... Oh my gosh, I've never seen a character become so fucked up so fast. Like, this guy is nuts, but I do like it. He makes for an interesting protagonist, I guess? I guess just a main character. I guess you can say protagonist, because protagonist does not mean good. It just means, you know, the lead of the story. Which does make L the antagonist. It does make L the antagonist. So... yeah, so that's interesting, man. I mean, that sets up a pretty big conflict, this whole thing between Light and L and Kira. So yeah. It's also interesting because, you know, Ryuk Ryuk came to the human world just because he was bored. And it kind of seemed for a little bit, it's like, well, you know, you're kind of saddled with Light, and it's like, what's he doing? He's going to school, he's coming home, he's writing down names, he's going to bed. And it's like, great, is that fun? You having fun? But, yeah, he's definitely, he definitely likes it now. Now that he's, you know, the more he talks with Light and, the more he talks with Light about, you know, his methodology and stuff like that. And now this whole thing with L. Yeah, it's interesting. And then who was the girl that he, like, I do like, you know, all this talk about, you know, I have to do as much as I can, write down as many names as I can, and I must spend every moment from when I get home from school to when I go to bed writing down names. And it's just like, oh, this girl needs help with her homework. Well, alright, I guess I'll help. I did like that. It's almost like that's still part of, like, his, like, still, like, humanity that's left with him. It's like, yeah, he's still kind of human. He's still going to help out this girl with her homework. They didn't specify, they didn't really say who the girl was. Like, is that his sister? Is that a friend? I don't know, just some girl showed up and needed help. So, yeah. So yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, I did kind of like that. It's like, I did kind of like that the girl, like, it almost was like a bit of his humanity left over. It's like, oh yeah, I guess I'll help you out. So yeah, I wrote down L. Holy shit. So first off, I wrote down the ICPO, which I don't know what that stands for. ICPO. Alright, I'll look it up. Give me this. Hold up. I'm gonna look crap up while I'm sitting here. So don't you worry about me. Yeah, the ICPO, which was kind of like, I don't know, was it like, well, I need to figure out what this is. Okay, ICPO. Wonder if that's a specific, no. What does ICPO stand for? Irrecoverable Corporate Purchase Order. That's not it. God damn it. China? ICPO China? Maybe I should put Japan. Wait, the International Criminal Police Organization. ICPO, the International Criminal Police Organization. Okay, that makes sense. So it's an international thing. Okay, I understand that. Because I was kind of curious, like, okay, because they specifically said they need the help, L needs the help of Japan. Specifically Japan's police department. So I was a little curious as to what they actually are. So they're an international police organization. Okay, that's kind of cool. So yeah, having them, I love. It is, you know, really interesting when they're, you know, all arguing about what this whole thing could be with, you know, with all these criminals that are dying of heart attacks, and because this is exactly what Light wanted. He wanted everyone. He wanted people to know there is someone out there delivering, you know, divine justice or something. This great justice. It definitely felt a little like Zamasu-ish. Again, another reference to Dragon Ball Super. I've been doing that a lot lately in these anime videos, but whatever. Dragon Ball Super is a great show. But yeah, so this is exactly what Light wanted. But what this led to was Light's rival, basically, in L. And it's interesting that pretty much immediately they bring up L because they are not sure, like, because they don't know what to do. How do you deal with this when everyone is having sudden heart attacks? Okay, this has to be something, but they don't know what to do about it. So yeah, so that was kind of interesting. And then, yeah, the whole thing with where it's like, okay, we don't know L's real name, no one has seen him, and then here's the only guy who's ever who can contact L. We don't know his name either. We barely know what he looks like. Like, he showed up, but he was still like in shadows mostly. So that's interesting. I like that extra little layer of like identity protection, basically. That that like extra little layer because like, you know, the whole thing is you don't know L's real name, and now here's the only guy that can contact him. You don't know his name either. Oh, if I could talk today. Let's see. I wrote down hiding the Death Note. Fucking Light is so fucking nuts. So, you know, you could probably just hide that anywhere. But then, not only that, but Light actually goes to a whole, like a hidden, like, a secret, like, compartment of... excuse me. Ooh, got a little phlegmy there. A whole secret compartment of... in this drawer. And it's like, okay, he just keeps his diary there, so most people, they'll just look and be like, oh, okay, and put it back. And he's like, so not many people will, you know, look for the little hole to push the thing up. And it's like, well, yeah, you have it under the drawer. No one looks under drawers, you idiot. Well, not idiot, you genius. It is actually pretty good. It's like, yeah, no one's gonna look under there, buddy. Maybe the police would, I guess. I guess the police would, but then, so he does that, and it's like, okay, that's where the Death Note is being kept. And it's like, okay. And Ryuk even says, like, okay, well, you know, most people, when they get the Death Note, their whole thing is about, you know, where do you hide it? But because he did also mention the clause of, or the thing that it's like, okay, if someone else touches the Death Note, then they will see Ryuk as well. Right now, it's just Light that can see Ryuk. Which is interesting, and, you know, Light's a little mad. He's like, oh my gosh, he's telling me this now? But it makes sense. Like, he didn't really explain anything about the Death Note before you picked it up. You didn't meet him until you had already started killing people. So, yeah, that's interesting. And then the whole thing of, you know, you have to do this a certain way. Like, you have to do this a certain way to get the Death Note, because if you just try to remove the thing or it falls out, then it will set off an electrical charge which will ignite gasoline and destroy the Death Note permanently. It will destroy the Death Note and any evidence that Light had, basically. That's interesting, incredibly complicated, and very serial killer-like. But I do kind of like that. He's so... God, he's so fucked up, but I love it. And then the last thing I wrote down was the confrontation between Light, known on the internet as Kira, and L. Which is also interesting, because, you know, the whole thing of, like, okay, well, humans won't... People generally won't say, oh, yeah, we should kill. Like, they have a certain appearance they need to keep up. But on the internet, where everything's completely anonymous, you can... You know, people will come out in favor of this. So, and that's interesting. And the thing is, when was this made, actually? Approximately 1,033 minutes. Oh, because they're adding all the episodes together. Is there, like, a copyright on this thing? Huh. God damn it, it doesn't say. I want to see when this was made. I guess I could look it up on my computer here. I guess I'll have to. Let me just set that back. Alright. Death Note. Oh, God. Yeah. The Netflix movie. Okay. I just need a year. Just give me a year, Wikipedia. All right, the manga released in 2003, and the anime 2006. Okay, so yeah, that's still pretty like early internet. I mean, not incredibly early, but it's still like, I don't know. It was still a while ago, so that is very interesting. Seeing these, older. I mean, God, that looked like Windows XP, that he was using, and seeing, so on these online forums, people are starting to, come out in favor of Kira, and the reason he's called Kira is because basically they took the English word killer and sort of Japanesed it. Yeah, that's interesting in an English dub. That's very interesting in an English dub where they say that. But they have to keep up that it's like, this is in Japan, This is in Japan. This is how this should work. So yeah, that's actually... It's just a little thing, kind of takes you out for a second. It's like, oh, they derived this from the English word. And where, like, for a half a second, you're just like... You're speaking English. Yeah, but... So, that's funny. It means this is a pretty faithful dub, then, which is pretty good. And then, the confrontation. So, Light sent out... Or not Light. L, excuse me. So, L sent out a decoy. L sent out a decoy instead of himself. Because I was thinking, it's like, oh, there he is. That's L. And I was like... But he's never shown his face before, so that was pretty interesting. And then that gave him the clue that it's like, okay, this is for real. Kira is real. Kira can kill without being on site, and deliver heart attacks, and because originally it was like, well, this is a worldwide broadcast, and it's like, nope, not anymore. Now I was curious. They said. He did say, the whole thing about the reason he wanted the police department from Japan. They didn't really explain it at the time, but then later he said, the first criminal that died of this, heart attack thing, it was only broadcast in Japan. So L has already picked up on this. Excuse me, I'm going to be mixing those up for a while probably. So L has already caught on to that. So that's why he initially suspected Japan, which definitely makes sense. However, when he first said that he needed Japan, it's like, okay, well, why does he think this is in Japan of all places? And then I thought, okay, well, maybe it's the time of day, because Light is doing this at a specific time of day. Maybe that, I don't know. Maybe that's not it. But it's not it because of the whole first criminal thing. So yeah. So that was interesting. And then saying it's like, okay, you are here and you're in this one specific place in Japan because this is the only place we broadcast this to right now. So now it makes me, well, I guess they were just going to keep using the same guy. I was going to say, what if were they going to keep running through criminals until, but no, the thing is that he died, so they know that Kira is there. So yeah, that whole confrontation, that's pretty amazing that it, like, immediately in the second episode, we have a rival, basically. We have a full rival to Light. That is pretty cool. He went off on this whole thing about being the god of this new world, and it's like, all right, I guess that's just that. And it's like, oh, nope, here's the rival. He wanted everyone to know of him. Well, someone does know of you, and they want to take you down. So, and they feel that what they're doing is just as much justice as what you're doing. So that's interesting. And I love, Ryuk is finally getting excited. He's like, all right, cool. It's kind of like, hey, this is exactly what he wanted, basically. He was kind of getting, I think he was still interested with Light, but like, for the most part, it's like, okay, well, he's just gonna stay at home and write names in the Death Note, and it's like, now there is something. Now he gets to watch this, this battle, basically, this war between Light and L. So, yeah, that's really interesting. And Light is all for it. He's like, all right, challenge accepted. So we're gonna have to see where that goes within the series. So yeah, I'm very curious. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Great episode, really enjoying it, and I'm curious to see where we go from here. Oi. So yeah, with all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Death Note reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.